Good afternoon, everyone. This is CERT Instructor Ron. It's been a while, I know, but one of the things that's happened is life, I guess. It happens, and we haven't had really any emergencies lately. Well, that's not true. Let me just jump right into it. But if you like and subscribe and put comments. Either way, um, we had an incident with a fire not far from here, and it started, and as the fire raged, we got some notices that we needed to evacuate our property. So I called the emergency manager that I know and said, "Hey, what's going on?" And they sent out the notice, and of course, it didn't hit my house, but got pretty close. But we had two of those last week on Thursday, and with that said, um, it makes you really think. And so, my wife and my buddy that stays with me, we had to kind of decide on what was important and what's not. So we got the important things together. Thank God my wife is also a CERT instructor, so we had this stuff together and ready to go. Now, with that said, uh, I've covered a lot of things over the few years of pamphlets that you need to get if you can. Um, List, you know, of emergency items that you need and papers and whatever else, how to take care of your animals, and whether terrorism or not, which, by the way, I was an investigator on the Oklahoma City bombing. And so, with all that said, that information that we needed, we knew it. And a lot of people overlook these things. They don't look at this information. They throw it in the trash. They take it home from some preparedness event and just don't do it. They don't have the water and extra food that they need or other things that they might need in cold weather, whatever. So you have to prepare for your environment. But what I'm trying to get at is that we've already had a lot of things happen this year in 2023. We started having severe weather in about the middle of March, actually just before the middle of March. And with that said, it's just, proceeded until now. So today's the 4th of April 2023, and this is already what we face. So if this is what we're facing now, what are we going to face maybe during the severe weathers, that's coming? We know it's going to come. Is this a prelude? We don't know. Nobody has the answer. So what we need to look at is one thing, and that is being prepared. And that's my message today. The number one thing that every one of you should do is be prepared. Whether it's a flood, snow like they had in California and the West Coast, or what, hurricanes maybe in Florida, flooding in Houston, it doesn't matter when and where it's going to happen. It is. The question is, are you prepared? And most people aren't. They'll say they are. And when you question them about it, start asking them things like, well, how much water do you have on hand? How much food do you have on hand? What are your plans? What are you going to do when the electricity goes off? You need to charge your phone. Do you have a way to do that? Or lighting. Um, what are you going to do? And that's my question to you today. No matter what happens, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And a lot of people say, you know what? Never going to happen to me. Well, when I got those two alarms to evacuate my house, I didn't think it would happen. I knew it could happen. We don't know. But again, are you prepared? Always be prepared. And everything that you've been told, if you don't practice it and develop a plan with your uh, neighbors and your household, you're not ready. And so we already knew, my wife and I knew, what we needed to grab and get. And you need to do the same thing. If you know you've only got 5 minutes, what are you going to get? Where are you going to go? What if roads are blocked and jam packed? You just think you're going to get out here on the interstate and go? Maybe not so. So these are things you have to ask and do and prepare. A lot of people don't. I mean, as you see, I've got ham radios and whatever, but what if the electricity goes off? What am I going to do then? Well, you know what? I've got solar stuff. for my car so I can keep my radio going. So what are you going to do? Think about all those things. Think about how you're going to keep dry. If it's raining or if it's extremely cold, do you have things like space blankets? Do you have food that you can open with a can opener? I mean, it's pretty simple. I always keep this normally in my backpack, but it's got a little can opener on it. So even if the electricity doesn't work, I've got three, four, five of these. One is none and two is one. And I've got one on my keychain. Back when I was in the Army, you could get these things. And I always kept one on my keychain, P38. So these are things that you should do and prepare. And so again, I'm going to ask you, what are you going to do to get prepared? Are you going to practice that plan? Are you going to know where that stuff is stored so you can just grab it and go? Or are you going to have to dig and waste time? So with this spring coming on now, this April, it's warming up. It's 80 some degrees today, I think, and it's going to get hotter and hotter. So we know the severe weather is going to come into play here pretty soon, here in Tornado Alley. So I'm prepared. What does that mean? That means I have a shelter to get into. I've got things to put in there, already in there, so when things happen. So, but that's my preparation. So I'm asking you, what's yours? Do you really have it? Do you know what you're going to do? If you don't, come up with a plan. There are lists online. You can go to FEMA's website, download some lists that basically tell you how to be prepared. But I've discussed all those lists that I put on my desk. So, and videos before. So again, I'm asking you, what are you going to do? I see a lot of people, even people I train in CERT, that I get them trained, never hear from them again. I can send them text and say, hey, let's do some training and get prepared for when the storm season's coming, what you may or and should do. Never hear from them again. But I'm just telling you, each and every one of you need to get prepared. That's all I got to say. So please like and subscribe, and we'll catch you later.